Hello, and welcome to the Valley View Community Unit School District 365U. We are pleased that you have joined our family on a mission to give all of our students the quality education and head start in life that they need to contribute positively in our local and global communities. The purpose of this video is to review the components of the Mentoring and Induction program. In addition, you will practice locating tools and information related to the program. By the end of this video, you will know that you have been successful when you can recall at least 2 ways to access the information presented. You will also be able to select the components of the program from a list of components and describe how any of the components can relate to an educator's professional growth and lead to student growth. It will be important that you have your laptop or electronic device to view the websites or access information as we go forward together. And you can press pause at any time in order to review information or to take notes or to find out how to access something if you missed it. The best way to view this video is alongside your device so that you can do what I'm doing and you can remember how to find this information. The Professional Development Department is here to guide you through your overall experiences as you acclimate yourself to the VVSD environment. We pride ourselves on not only making you feel at home and a part of our district, but at giving you access to the resources and answering your questions as you may have them. We want you to know that you are not alone as you navigate the resources and expectations of our district. The Professional Development Department is the department that you would communicate with regarding the details and information on the program. So this is our Valley View School District website that you have become familiar with recently. To find our information from our department, you would go to Departments and go down to Professional Development. And you will find most of the information that you would need on this page. As a matter of fact, you will also find my name, which is on this page. This is me, LaDonia Stanley, also known as Soul, and I am guiding you on our tour of the Mentoring and Induction program today. There are 3 ways to access the website that will take you to mentoring and induction requirements and information. So I'm going to show you all 3 of those ways. You might find that when you are using your phone, one way is easier as opposed to using your laptop. Another way may be more convenient for you. In any way that you choose, you will end up at the same location. So here's the first way. You've made your way to our department by accessing the VVSD homepage, going to the word department, scrolling down to professional development, and now here we are on our professional development page. If you go to the left column and you see mentoring and induction, you can click on that and it will take you to the mentoring and induction program homepage. That's one way to access the information. Another way, you might not know this, but VVSD has an awesome resource called our on-demand page. And the way that you access that is by going to www.vvsd.org/on-demand. This page has so much information that you could possibly use to, get a lot of background before you get started. If you take a look at this entire page and just look at the tabs, you have information in this white section about systems that we use. You have information about programs that we use for students and possible things that you can implement in the classroom. You have information on technology and how to use the technology in the screen section. And then you have help buttons up here so that you can get the help that you need. Now, what we're going to be looking at is this orange section, but mainly this little button right here, which is the mentoring button. If you click on this button with the little apple and the big apple, then that will take us directly to the mentoring and induction page again. So you have that second way to access this page. Just in case you can't remember those two, or you're in a position where you have to get to it quickly, and for example, you're at the library, you're not using your own personal device, things don't automatically pop up. You can also go to the address bar and type in tinyurl.com/VVSD mentoring. And that will also take you to the Mentoring and Induction Program homepage. Now keep in mind that these are 3 ways you can have a preference, and we will be asking several questions at the end to make sure that you are familiar with the program. Once you have come to the end of this presentation, there will be a link, and you will follow that link to a Google form where you will evaluate the information provided, the helpfulness of the information, and you will also request any other information that you feel was left out of this presentation. So let's take a look at the program itself. We're going to scroll back up to the top of this page, and we are going to take a look at what a Year 1 protege is required to do. And this is for all Year 1 proteges with slight variations for the job, but right now we're just going over the general requirements for all Year 1 proteges. The first thing you'll notice on this page, and once again, we access this page by going to the Mentoring and Induction site and clicking on Year 1 proteges. You'll notice that it is asking for you to request a mentor. Now, what you will notice is that it says, it asks you a question, is it August 15th or later? So more than likely, if you are watching this video and it is not August 15th or later, you will be assigned a mentor from your principal, and you will have been made aware of who that person is. So if you know who that person is, that is great, because they will be able to support you. If you are not sure who that person is, then wait until August 15th, or I think after August 1st, you can begin to make me aware personally, or our professional development department aware, that you don't have a mentor. However, it's really not a concern until it's after August 15th, and then at that point we know that we will have to find someone for you. If it's after August 15th, you can click here to request a mentor. It will take you to a Google form, and you can fill out your name and your job, and it will help us to guide us in our decision for who would match with you. Scroll down a little bit to Year 1 proteges overview, and there's a page here which gives you all the information. It's an overview, and you can print it out kind of as a checklist to make sure that you have completed the requirements of the Year 1 program. You'll notice that you have district PD trainings, you have cohort meetings, peer visitations, you have face-to-face meetings, and most of your face-to-face meetings have something to do with either pre-conferences or post-conferences related to the peer visitations. You also have building meetings that are required. I want to remind you that most of the time you're not going to have the maximum of these, but just be prepared that contractually you can be asked to attend up to 7 meetings. So if you only attend 4 or 5, you have still met the requirements of the program if the facilitators have only hosted 4 or 5 meetings. And you also will have an opportunity to get these dates and put them in your calendar well in advance. As we continue to scroll down the page, you'll see the vision and mission, and then you'll see a section called resources. The Year 1 Protege resources are in a folder. If you click on that folder, it will open up and you will be able to see that they have the Common Core English, Common Core Math standards. You have what's called a new teacher binder. That is information that we used to actually put in a physical binder, but we realized that to save paper and to save time, it's much easier to get this information to you electronically, and that way you can have it far ahead in advance and you can look through it at your leisure. In addition, you could print it out if that's how you prefer to read the information. There are 2 forms in here, and one is called the 2016-2017 conference form. It's when you are doing your pre-observations and you are telling your protege, you are the protege. So you're telling your peer coach or your mentor, same person, different terminology you may hear. Some people say peer coach and some people say mentor. You're going to meet with them and tell them what you envision as a great teacher. So when you're looking at your performance and where you want to be, that is what you'll be using for these conference forums for. They will be helping to support you in your development of where you see yourself as an educator. And that's including any role. This is a peer coach form that just documents the dates and times you met and with a brief description of what you talked about, just in case you need to refer back to that. It's also good to keep these forms electronically just in case we need them for evidence that something actually occurred, or in a case of an audit later on down the road, that you'll have them in one location. So we're going to close this resource page out now. Okay. One of the first items that you noticed on the page was the section that said the district trainings, new teacher orientation. The new teacher orientation this year is different than it's been done in the past. So this year, what we're going to do is have one full day with all of our new hires and being welcomed with our superintendent, having an overview for the ESL and special or supported education departments. And also, we are going to talk a lot about visible learning. You will hear a lot about visible learning in our district. If you would like to go ahead and get started on some of those readings and resources and just to familiarize yourself with it, you can. However, that first day will be set aside specifically to catch you up to where we are in that whole process of transforming into a district of assessment capable learners who are visible learners. And our part of the program is to insist that you become a visible teacher. So you're a visible learner as well, and that will help you to help our students. Taking a look at that particular one day and noticing also it says curriculum learning days. All of these things will probably happen in the first 2 weeks of August. So what I would like to show you is a way to access the information just from the district PD trainings related to new educator orientation. If you would go to a new page and go to the web address bar and type in www.tinyurl.com/VVSDNEO, which stands for Valley View School District New Educator Orientation. It will take you directly to the New Educator Orientation home page. Scroll down on this home page, and we are very proud and excited to be able to give you customized information. Based on your job description, you would click. So, for example, if you were an elementary fourth grade teacher, general ed, here. But if you were a fourth grade co-teacher, you would click here. If you were a middle school psychologist, then you would go over to the secondary column, and then you would scroll down to psychologist, and then you would click on that information, and it will take you directly to the content and information that you are responsible for as far as new educator orientation is concerned. So let's pretend that I am a third grade co-teacher. If I'm a third grade co-teacher, I would go to primary. I would click on elementary teacher special education. And here are my dates to remember. My first day to remember is August the 1st. I'm required to attend from 8 to 3:30 at Lacanzic Middle School. If I scroll down in that column, it gives me tips, information about arriving early. It also gives me an agenda to click on. So let's click on that. It tells us that at 7:45 to 8:30, that will be the sign in and eating breakfast, and that from 8:30 to 9:30, we will hear from Dr. Mitchum, the superintendent of this district. We will get to meet some other key administrative players on the team, the senior leadership team. And then later on, we'll talk about the visible learning, as I discussed earlier. So it's very helpful to have this in advance to prepare yourself for what you will be expected to know. Scrolling down on that same thing, you'll see it says click here with questions regarding the August 1st New Educator Orientation event. So if you have any questions, you will be able to ask questions. Once you have been hired and once you can log in with your login information, you'll be able to click there to ask any specific questions. The second column, the purple column, is talking about curriculum breakout sessions. So as a third grade co-teacher, I will be responsible for attending on Wednesday, August 3rd and Thursday, August 4th. Those are full days. They will be at Lacanzic. It even tells me the door that I'm to enter, the room number. And at some point in the near future, I'm pretty sure I will be able to click here for the agenda. I can click here for a parking map to show me where to park once I arrive. That's where I'm supposed to go. This is the door I enter, and so I'm parking on this side of the parking lot. In this column, I have choices to take a classroom management session. So if I am having my first day here, day 3 and 4 full here, I can choose the 8th, 9th, or 10th in order to take a classroom management class. Now, don't worry if you have already been teaching for years. We use strategies that enable our newest teachers to interact with our veteran teachers from other school districts. You will be learning something new. You will be contributing your knowledge and wisdom, and we are sharing in the Valley View culture. So this is a good way to get involved in the way that we at Valley View think and respond to student behavior. We have a lot of information on Domain 2, which is of the Danielson framework. And it's just a fun class. So don't worry, we're going to have a good time and learn at the same time. The last column, there are 3 days set aside for building days. So if I'm a third grade co-teacher and I work at, for example, Jonas Salk, then I will be attending my building day on Wednesday, August 2nd. If I am a third grade co-teacher and I teach it, I will be teaching or being a psychologist or performing my duties at Irene King, then that building day is August 11th. And on the other hand, if I'm, let's say, working with teachers at Tibbet, then I would be attending on August 12th. So you are basically looking at this column to see when your school is hosting a building day, where you will come in, meet with your principal and some teachers, and probably some key players that have been invited, and you will be initiated with the process of getting familiar with the facilities, the resources, how to request resources, and other topics decided upon by your building administration. So now that we've talked about new teacher orientation, I want to go back to the mentoring website. And remember that to get to that page, it's a tiny URL. As a matter of fact, it's very, very easy. Now, one of the things that I want you to notice on our mentoring and induction page is that once you become a year 2, you would click on year 2. But importantly, for year 1 is your school mentoring websites. So let's take a look at those. These are important because they will allow you to sign up for your peer visitations. Now, if you recall from the year 1 protege requirements, semester 1, you are required to go observe a veteran teacher. So I'm back on the overview. Semester 1, I'm required to visit a veteran teacher. And then I'm also required to have my mentor to come and observe me teaching. So the reason why that's critical for you to remember is when you are doing those visitations, you will go to your school website. I'm going to pretend like I am a third grade co-teacher at Jonas Salk. So I'm going to click. The first thing I notice on that site is if I forget how to do my mentoring and induction peer visitations, I have this presentation here to guide me and to remind me. Not only is it directions, but it's also frequently asked questions. So if you have any questions about that process, you can click on there and watch that presentation, which is on every single school website. You'll also notice that there are peer visitation dates. Now, these dates are dates that your building leaders have agreed to allow guest teachers to come into the building specifically for the mentoring and induction program. If you are in a position that does not require a guest teacher, then you will still have to come to this website and you will still click on the link and you will be directed to another page. And this page will allow you to sign up to say that you will be completing that visitation on that day. So if you take a look at this, this looks a little differently this year. We did change it a little bit to make it more explicit that you are to sign on the page whether you need a guest teacher or not. So you see that we had teachers sign up, and even if your observation period that you wanted was being used, you could sign here to say, hey, I really, really wanted to go see this particular teacher for period 1, but someone's already took that spot, so I'm going to put my name here. There's also a section for, hey, I'm a social worker, I don't need a guest teacher, but I'm going to put it here that yes, at third period, I will be observing um, my mentor in her working with a small group. So that's what you would do. Make sure that you record the incident that occurred on the, and if it's on a different date, so this sheet says September 21st. Let's say that you're a social worker and you observed her, your mentor, working with a group on September 23rd. Then you would just simply type into the sheet September 23rd, 2000, let's say 15. I observed, and make sure that you would identify who the I is. And who did you go to observe? It could be any veteran teacher. And tell when you observed them, maybe during third hour. And you could put the specific time if you chose to do so. What's important about this is that if we have any questions, we know exactly where to get the information. We know that we can find it somewhere in September. So there's only one sheet for your school for that month. So we'll be able to find where you put this information to ask further questions about it if necessary. So once you have signed up, you have no further responsibilities. If you're a third grade co-teacher, as we were pretending to be, you will not be responsible for having to go into the ASOP program and get a guest teacher. A guest teacher is provided. You have the sole responsibility of signing up on that sheet. When you go to visit a veteran teacher, you're not going to go straight to the veteran teacher. First, you're going to decide with your mentor what goals you have in going to see that veteran teacher. Then you're going to use your pre-visitation conference form to talk with your mentor about what you're looking for, how you will be collecting data, what specifically with that thing you're looking for, what elements is it comprised of, so that you can have valid resource information to discuss with your mentor after you have gone to visit this veteran teacher. So after you visited, then you would go back and talk to your mentor about what you saw, how it impacted students. How do you feel as a result of observing? Is it something that you would like to incorporate into your practice? How do you see yourself using the data in a positive way in your classroom to impact student achievement? We also have a tool here where either the protege who is going to observe a veteran teacher or the mentor who is going to observe that protege, we can click on that, and I'll go ahead and sign in so that you can see that form. This is one of those forms that is only accessible once you have your Valley View login, which you should get as soon as you are official with your email. So as you can see, it'll take you to a form where there's a template. So this is a template, and if you could use it. So here it is. It's your personal copy. You can come up here and click up there and actually go and make it your own. So let's pretend this is mine. So this is Mrs. Stanley's VVSD Mentoring and Induction Classroom Visitation Observations tool. So taking a look at the form itself, I'm looking down, I can see what I saw, what I heard, A tally box may be how many times the person is saying something positive versus how many times they're redirecting. Those are items that you could tally. And so this is where you would put your data. And it's yours. You can change things as you need to. If you have any other questions, remember that frequently asked questions are right here in this presentation. There they are. Close out all of your extra windows at this point. Taking a look back at the Symbaloo page and our mentoring tab. Okay, I guess we have been kicked out, so I'm going to follow my second choice, which is using the VVSD page and going through professional development. Maybe I timed out of that page. So now I'm in mentoring and induction again. And the last thing I want to talk to you about is cohort meetings. Now, your cohort meetings are those meetings where on the original sheet of requirements, the checklist, it listed you have up to 7 required cohort meetings in the year. If you go to cohort meetings, this is of course information that is not for you. It's just an example of what was done this past 2015-2016 year, which will be updated with your information after July 1st. Take a look at your job. This is the year 1 protege cohort meetings, and that means that all of the hires in your category will be meeting together across the district. They will be meeting together to discuss something with a cohort facilitator who has been requested by the director of that department. So, for example, if I am that 3rd grade teacher, I'm going to look at year 1. Here's K5, and I'm a SPED teacher, so I will go to these cohort meetings. Some of these links are live because they have been connected directly to what we call our Wisdomware registration forms, and you would click on those links and it would take you directly to where you are to sign in to register for the cohort meeting. So if you were an art teacher or a tech teacher, you would come down to year 1, 6 through 12. Here's the CTE teachers, and you have your cohort meetings and links to take you to the registration for those meetings. It's very important that you register for every professional development session that you attend. In that way, you will have a record or a running transcript of all of your PD that has been completed within the district. And also, if you ever need evidence because for some reason you've misplaced it or something happened where you can't prove that you were at a meeting, we do keep attendance on those pages. So you would have to register and make sure that you are signed into the course in order to get credit for having attended that course. Okay, so now you have learned 3 ways to access the homepage for the Valley View School District Mentoring and Induction Program. You have had an opportunity to take a look at the year 1 requirements. You understand how to request a mentor should you find yourself on August 16th without one. You have had an opportunity to observe the fact that um, there are there actually is a school mentoring website for each school. So no matter which school you are working, and if you are a half-time person or if you are a traveling person, you will probably want to use the website of the school where you spend the most time. However, if you feel that it is an equal time, then you can communicate with one of us in professional development, specifically a coordinator, and we will be able to guide you in that process of figuring out the best way to complete your requirements if you're in two or more buildings. We do have some itinerant people, and we do have people who are moving around from the majority of the day every day. Also, you have an opportunity to look back at your cohort meetings. Once you look back after July 1st, you will see the dates of your cohort meeting and the dates of your the information that you will need to complete your peer visitations. So hopefully this has been very helpful to you. Now it is time for you to give us feedback.